Hey, good morning, guys. John at New York Metro Weather checking in. We have another update on the winter storm expected to evolve throughout the region from later today into Thursday. Not much has changed in regards to the expectations of what the storm will deliver, but there have been some short-term trends that we think are important to discuss and that we want to lay out for you so that you can understand and observe why the forecast is changing a little bit and what goes into understanding those individual changes. So here's what we're looking at right now. This is the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And we're looking at the energy and disturbance responsible for this storm system over the Ohio Valley as of this morning. And this will shift off to the east here into New England, into the mid-Atlantic, and that will allow and encourage the development of a low-pressure system off the coast right here, moving up the coast and then eastward from the New Jersey coast out into the Atlantic Ocean. But this is the main disturbance responsible for the storm. It is here. It is happening. It's showtime. And there have been some trends that we want to talk about. So in yesterday's video, you might remember we talked about these are ensemble members. So each of these individual L's here are individual ensembles that are run from the European model, and they each come out with a different solution. And so we're only, a day or so from the storm, or 12 hours from the storm. We still have quite a bit of spread as to where the low pressure area is going to be. And what we were talking about yesterday when we sat here and I talked about the trends to the west-northwest, was that a lot of these were clustering on the coast or inland from the coast or really, really close to the coast. And what we've seen in the last 12 hours is the models have shifted back to the east a little bit. I mentioned yesterday that this was a possibility, and that it reintroduces a slightly colder scenario to the forecast. So let's compare just to take a look at what we've been watching over the last 12 hours. Here's yesterday's ensembles, and we'll look at exactly what they looked like when we chatted and we had our video yesterday. Let me just refresh this page because I'm not getting not getting a very good response here, but here we go. Okay, so let's take these low pressure areas. This is what they looked like yesterday when we chatted, and you can see there was a lot of them really close to the coast here. And what we've seen in the last 12 hours is that shift to the south and east. And even more important than these individual lows, watch these pressure fields and these colors. Here's where we were yesterday, and here's where we are today. And you can see that the entire system has shifted a little bit more progressive and a little bit more to the south and east. And it's very, very important for areas like New York and northern New Jersey that are right on that, right on that battleground, that periphery between snow and possibly seeing sleet. And we take a look again at the individual European model. And here's the most recent model run, which shows heavy snow into New York later this afternoon and evening into Thursday morning. And when we compare this back to the model we were looking at yesterday, you can see really what was going on yesterday was banding. The large majority of banding is all the way back over central Pennsylvania. We talked about this in yesterday's video. And the low pressure system is tucked in near Washington, D.C. And so that was introducing a lot of warm air into the forecast across New Jersey and New York. But what's happened in the most recent runs, and pay attention to the not only just the snow, but the change in where the low pressure is that low pressure is now near or off the coast. And that heavy snow is now shifting south and east again. And again, I'll run it back again here so you can compare. Here's yesterday's model runs, and here's this morning's model runs. And you can see the introduction of colder air, heavier precipitation to the forecast is happening as a result of the system shifting back a little bit to the south and east. And so there are going to be some adjustments made. We are going to take our forecast a little bit colder, and we are going to bring the snowfall amounts back a little closer to what they were when we first issued our first forecast a couple of days ago. So let's take a look and break it down hour by hour. Here's the high resolution modeling for today. This is valid right around 2 o'clock p.m. And you can see that snow is expected to be pushing through parts of northern New Jersey, already underway in southeast Pennsylvania. And moving rapidly into the New York City area by 4 o'clock p.m. This is the 4 p.m. map. And the important thing to note here is that it does appear this storm is going to come in relatively quickly. And so that's going to be, the conditions could go downhill right around rush hour this afternoon. The system continues to move through here, so the 6 o'clock p.m. simulated radar, and you can see because of the track being a little further south and east, not much progress of this sleet area, at least through this evening. For a while, it looked like that would blow right through and we'd be sleeting relatively quickly, but now we have colder air and heavier precipitation across our area here through 6 o'clock, and will take us now to 8 o'clock. This is now several hours of snow and accumulation. Heavy snow continues in the low pressure area tracking near the coast of the mid-Atlantic states. And you can see now some of that sleet is beginning to move into central New Jersey, to areas like Trenton, Hunterdon County, southeastern Pennsylvania, but still heavy snow in northern New Jersey and New York City. And then as we move towards 9 o'clock, the suggestion is that that heavy precipitation will fight off that sleet with dynamic cooling. So we'll continue to see periods of heavy snow across parts of New York, really through the evening. This one valid for 10 and now 11. And you can see what eventually is going to happen is that banding is going to shift to the north of New York. But moderate to heavy snowfall rates could continue into the evening hours tonight. We talked about that initial band coming in with a lot of vigor, and I want to show you something here. We're looking here at vertical velocities and lift in the atmosphere. So lift helps to produce precipitation, and we're looking at an area of very intense lift here. This tells us as meteorologists that the potential exists for a band of very, very heavy snow to come into the New York City area as this storm begins early this evening. Whenever you see values like this, the model is telling you, it's telling a story, and the story is that the atmosphere is going to be pretty jacked up. There's going to be a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and the snow could come down at very, very intense rates as this band moves from south to north across New Jersey, and then kind of hangs out across the New York City area here later this afternoon and evening. Zooming in a little bit more and take a look at exactly what's going to happen here. We'll go hour by hour. This is the simulated radar from the high resolution modeling. We'll run you back here one more time, and we'll take you just hour by hour so we can understand exactly what's going on. This morning, mostly dry. This takes us until about 2 o'clock p.m. Here's that snow moving in, as we mentioned, into the New York City area, continuing moderate to heavy through right around 5 o'clock. And then now we get into crunch time. So 7 o'clock, this is where the track being further southeast today on most model guidance makes a huge difference. Because now, instead of seeing sleet and maybe even light rain, we're looking again at moderate to heavy snow across parts of northern New Jersey and New York City at between 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock before the banding begins to shift off to the north. But again, if you're driving, if you're commuting home, conditions really go downhill quickly from 4 to 5 o'clock. So, and that's especially across New Jersey and eastern PA. So leave yourself some extra time, and if you can leave early, that would be the suggestion. And tonight, overnight, obviously, conditions look very unfavorable for travel. If you don't have to travel across New Jersey, New York City, southeast New York, Connecticut tonight, just stay home, relax, and let the storm kind of see itself out of the area Thursday morning. So we will have an updated snow map coming your way. Again, the big highlight is that things are trending a little bit less amplified, and that's leading to a further south and east track, which in turn is taking the forecast a little colder once again, reintroducing some more snow to northern New Jersey and New York. And we will have the hourly breakdown continuing, and obviously, with these things, the hourly observations, we have to continue to observe what's really happening on the ground, and we'll have updates as we go through the afternoon and evening as well. But for now, have a great Wednesday morning. Thanks for watching. We will talk to you guys very soon.